Welcome back to Creepcast. Today we are reading creepypastas based around rituals that you can perform at home that are real. You want to talk to God?
Yeah.
You want to talk to devil?
Yeah, today you can talk to both of them at the same time.
Kill your mom. Go into your room tonight. Take a big fluffy pillow and put it over your mom's face. It's time for her to go. Okay, you want riches beyond your wildest comprehension? Kill your mom. Kill her. I'm not even joking. I want you to kill your mom today. I want you to get a big old handful of pills and put it in her mouth when she's sleeping. If she doesn't choke on them, she'll probably overdose.
I can't wait for someone to actually have a problem with us, like a real one, and that there's going to be so many clips to use.
I feel,
infinite.
you know, it's just a ritual, dude. It's not the end of the world. Kill your parents.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so if
Kill your parents and then kill yourself.
Okay, all right. We are pushing every guideline we can find at this point. Our YouTube partner managers are sweating constantly. So if you're like me and you grew up with creepypasta, you probably came a lot of these ritual creepypastas. There were several that had the gimmick of getting a game for you to play or a way for you to talk to ghosts or something like that. Very similar to like old seance stories from like, you know, the Satanic Panic in the 80s and stuff like that. Just made with like more modern implements or sometimes being more specific. And if you're like me, you were too scared to do any of them, but you did read about them a lot. So I've wanted to cover this topic for a while, and we have an excellent excuse to cover it today, Hunter. What would that excuse be?
I had a burp. I have bad heartburn this morning. Yeah, we got a sponsor from A24. You heard of them?
We got A24. I have no idea how. Which after the intro to that, it may never happen again.
I'm buddies with the Rocka guys. The
Philippou brothers.
Huh?
Philippou brothers, right?
Yeah, well, I was just referring to
Rocka, sure.
Whatever. Whatever, dude. I'm trying to keep them humble with their YouTubers.
Okay, all right, yeah. These YouTubers, couple of YouTubers.
They're coming out with their new movie, Bring Her Back, on May 30th. And you guys should check it out because it's going to be fucking... Actually, we got to see it, and it's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
We got to see it. They gave us a nice little screener. Sorry, we're famous.
We're kind of cool. We're pretty neat, I got to say.
Steven Spielberg was there.
Yeah.
I gave him a noogie.
He was still mad that we just stole Spire in the Woods. He was upset about that.
Yeah.
But he liked the movie so much that he said he won't take us to court over it, which is a big deal. It's pretty cool. Good.
No, Bring Her Back comes out in theaters on May 30th. For people that don't know, it is the sophomore film from the brothers since their first freshman film, Talk to Me, which was a big hit.
Such a banger. I love it. Me and you both have the hand from Talk to Me in like our studios and our setup. I love that movie so much. It was awesome. And now
there it is. Oh God, it crawled its way out, dude.
Now they have another movie out.
Like a big old bear.
Or they will have another movie out. Bring Her Back. We watched it last night. We loved it. There was one scene I physically jumped. It has been a long time since that's happened in a horror movie. And there were 3 scenes me and you looked away because which I don't think it's spoiling anything to say that like the practical effects, the gore and stuff was very, very well done. I was impressed with it.
Danny and Michael do this great thing and I think that's why we wanted to touch on the ritual stuff today, is in their movies, they know how to simply articulate a very straightforward ritualistic experience.
Yes.
That is just super fun. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, we were talking about this beforehand. It's like Bloody Mary and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like the way that they present some of these rituals, it feels just as like candid as that.
The movie does a great job. It's similar to films like Hereditary, right? Where it's like, even if they're not setting you down and saying, this is step 1, this is step 2, you see all of the, you know, effects of it play out. And you can tell there is this pieced together lore behind the curtain. That's kind of, you know, everything that we see on screen is the operations of it. And I think that's always really cool. And it does remind me of like old creepypasta and stuff like that, which is why I wanted to cover it today. I, for one, was blown away when we got the message that A24 wanted me and you to be a part of like, you know, the pre-promo, the pre-release for the film. It's really awesome. Been a huge fan of the studio and was a huge fan of Talk to Me. I've been watching those guys since like the Ronald McDonald videos way back on YouTube. So this is wild. This really is like insane. Every day I'm thankful for you guys. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to have this very crazy life. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Hunter doesn't, but I do. So thank you for that. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that in the movie there is a ritual involved, as we've talked about. So today we're going to be looking at several famous creepypasta rituals.
Which one are we starting with?
The Midnight Game.
Okay.
So the Midnight Game was one of the earliest like ritual creepypastas, at least one of the earliest ones I remember. The image we're working off of was uploaded January 10th, 2011 to Imgur, the image board. I think this is the first iteration of it. It appears to be a screenshot, but this is the earliest one that I remember. Hunter is now using his power in controlling the television screen in front of me to show me just obscene things.
It was a buff Darth Maul.
He keeps typing in things while I'm sitting here.
It was on the side. I'm sorry.
He keeps typing in things to break my concentration.
Okay, now it's all...
Okay. Hold on. He has to get back. What if I just start doing the episode? Just start reading rituals.
I'll tell you honestly a reason that I'm just so excited that my friend's here and that we get to read this, and then also this coffee's blasting through me. I'm not even joking. Like I'm gonna have to take like a 5 and like dump it out.
Dump it out before we can get rolling.
I mean, I'm like I'm like wanting to just get rolling.
We have not got anything.
We have not gotten rolling yet.
If we haven't even read a thing yet, I've been doing this intro for 12
There's a movie
hours.
called the Midnight Game that came out in 2013.
It might be related.
She has a pentagram on her back, so it's probably
related. Yeah.
Can't find the Imgur.
Okay, go back to the Reddit. No. Go back to the Reddit.
Oh, and I clicked the link.
And you click the link. Yeah.
Okay.
If you need to go to the bathroom, now would be the time.
I'll just hold it.
Okay. All right. So from 2011, I believe this is the early iteration. I remember reading this and getting freaked out by it, and some of you guys probably do as well. So with that, let us begin the Midnight Game. The Midnight Game is an old pagan ritual used mainly as punishment for those who have broken the laws of the pagan religion in question. While it is mainly used as a scare tactic to not disobey the gods, there is still a very real chance of death to those who play the Midnight Game, and there is an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. It is highly recommended that you do not play the Midnight Game, but for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush or those delving into obscure occult rituals, these are the simple instructions on how to play. Do so at your own risk. Instructions. Prerequisites. It must be exactly midnight when you begin performing the ritual, otherwise it will not work. Materials required include a candle, a wooden door, at least 1 drop of your own blood, a piece of paper, matches or a lighter, and salt. If you are playing with multiple people, they will all need their own of the aforementioned materials and will have to perform the steps below separately. Step 1. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on a piece of paper and put at least 1 drop of your blood onto the paper. Allow it to soak into the paper. Step 2. Turn off all the lights in the house, go to your front door, which must be wooden, and place the paper with your name on it in front of it. Now, take the candle and light it. Place the candle on top of the paper with your name. Step 3. Knock on your own door 22 times. The hour must be 12 a.m. upon the final knock. Then open the door, blow out the candle, and close the door. You have just allowed the Midnight Man into your house.
just like, sorry, I did not expect Midnight Man. I'm sorry. You just allowed the Midnight Man into your house.
That does read kind of funny. The Midnight
It's
Man.
like, yeah, the Midnight Game, whatever. All of a sudden, it's like, knock on the door 22 times, blow out the candle. You just invited the Midnight Man into your house.
Congratulations.
Like, what?
You know, it is funny because I remember reading this because I would have been like 10 or 11 when I heard this the first time. And I just remember like reading that line and just getting scared out of my mind.
Well, what does the Midnight Man look like to you?
Well, that's the thing. It could be anything.
No, I mean, like, whenever do you remember?
Like a shadow man, like a hat man kind of figure, like a void
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Step 4. Immediately relight your candle. This is where the game begins. You must now lurk around your now completely dark house with the lit candle in hand. Your goal is to avoid the Midnight Man at all cost until exactly 3:33 a.m. Should your candle ever go out, then that means the Midnight Man is nearby. You must relight the candle within the next 10 seconds. you are unsuccessful, in relighting your candle, you must then immediately surround yourself with a circle of salt. If you are unsuccessful in both of those, Midnight Man will then induce a hallucination of your greatest fear, which will last until 3:33 a.m. If you are successful in creating the circle of salt, you must stay within the circle until 3:33 a.m. You must continue until 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man or being I just keep thinking about your read. That you have now let the Midnight Man into your house. You are now outside of the salt circle. You will have violent ibuprofen hallucinations until 3:33 a.m. Like it's no longer instructions, it's a threat. Like, I'm gonna do this to you.
You are having a stress nightmare.
You must continue until 3:33 a.m. without being attacked by the Midnight Man or being trapped within the circle of salt to win the midnight game. The Midnight Man will then leave at 3:33 a.m. and you will be safe to proceed with your morning. Addendum. Indications that you are near the Midnight Man include a sudden drop in temperature, seeing a pure black humanoid figure throughout the darkness, and very soft whispering coming from an indiscernible source. If you experience any of these, it is advised that you leave the area to avoid the Midnight Man. Staying in one spot throughout the entire game will only result in the Midnight Man finding you. It's highly advised that you keep moving throughout the game. Do not turn on any lights during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the game. Do not go to sleep during the game. Do not use another person's blood on your name. Do not use a lighter to substitute for a candle. It will not work. And definitely do not try to provoke the Midnight Man in any way. That is all. Have fun.
I love it. First of all, I just want to say, if I would have read this when I was like at a very young age, this would scare the shit out of me. Well, even like doing with your friends where it's like, I don't know, like I could see myself getting freaked out. I just love how this reads a bit though, where it's just like if you see a man made of shadows, that's the
Midnight Man.
Who are you? Like in this situation, is that my dad? It's like no.
Like after the Midnight Man thing, you'd be like, well, that could be anybody.
And I love the idea too of definitely don't try to provoke the Midnight Man in any way.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some kids where they're going to be doing the ritual, and they put that in there so when kids are doing it, they're like, I don't fucking see him. Fuck you, Midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, stop.
Quit.
Don't.
No. And that was the thing. Kids would do this, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a thing.
Yeah.
I remember like telling my parents about it, and like my mom got really mad. She was like, Isaiah, never do anything that you have to cut yourself to be a part of. So I never did the midnight game.
Be a part of.
I mean, like your kid's like, yeah, we're gonna like if a kid's like, we're gonna do Bloody Mary or whatever. Who cares? But if your kid's like, yeah, I've got to put my blood on a piece of paper, like, no, it's like, all right, maybe don't do that.
I gotta put my blood on a piece of paper.
The Hunter said he's gonna beat
Jeremy
me up.
was gonna let me his blood, but they said I can't use his for my
It's
name.
not allowed, or else it'll put a curse upon his
I can't.
bloodline or something.
It'll curse his family. They'll die.
So, like the midnight game, like kids would play this, right? And they'd freak each other out with this. So it was like, I did it and I heard something. Or like, my friend started screaming. I think she was having hallucinations, stuff like that. It's like a modern, like, you know, old seance stuff and things like that. It was.
The only thing I think I ever did when I was younger was, what the fuck is it when you're laying flat as a board, whatever, light as a feather? What am I thinking?
Flat as a board, light as a feather.
You sit there and you have a friend that's like laying down, and then you have your pinkies under them, and they like lift you off the ground. You're like, oh, oh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, I felt my soul leave my body. I felt my soul leave my body.
I was getting lifted up, bro. Dude,
I want to go home. I want to go home.
Yeah.
I had a kid seriously do that at one of my friend's birthday parties. Even at a young age, you're like, what? He's like, I want to go home. And his mom had to come get him at like, I'm not even joking, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I want to go home. I want to see my mom. Like, we didn't really lift you off the ground. I don't care, I want to go home. Yeah, I cut the reality, it's me. I'm the kid to say that.
There's some loser.
Yeah, exactly. There's some freak.
There's some
fat child did that.
Hold on, can we do Bloody Mary next? Because that's the other classic, but I also have a story I want to tell in association with that.
Well, Blood, you want to just say what do we have to read it?
I mean, it's like, is this the whole story, or is it just like?
That's the whole story.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we could just say it. So Bloody Mary is like the classic. Everyone knows that one, right? You go into, there's some different variations of it, but you go into like normally a bathroom, but a room with a mirror, and then you turn off the lights and you light a candle. and you say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. When you turn the lights back on, she'll be somewhere in your reflection. And the idea is that she'll always be there. Even if she doesn't show up right away, she could always be there, which is how it works so well. Because after like the kids freaked out, and if they don't see her at first, it's like, well, now for the rest of your life, you could always be in a mirror. So like,
Mary?
Yeah, Mary, is that you? Whoa. So when I was in middle school, I think it was the 7th grade, like all the like Bloody Mary became like the thing. People were like seeing scary pictures of it and stuff like that. And then one day during PE, like all the guys were like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to be brave. So we're going to go into the bathroom. We're going to do
real boys
thing.
thing.
Real boys thing to do.
Come on, guys.
Ritual. So we went into the bathroom at our middle school, and one of the older kids was like, he normally would make fun of us for this kind of thing. He would be like, oh, you like scary stories? It's really stupid. You're dumb. One of the people who would put me in the trash can. It's mentioned in previous stories I've talked about. But this time, for some reason, he was on board. I'm like, well, that's suspicious. Oh, well. So we go to the bathroom, and the way it's set up is like there's a long sink with like the stalls behind you, and the mirrors are like across in front of them. So I'm like scared. Like a couple of the other kids are scared, and we go up, and we didn't have a lighter, so we just like skipped that step and turned off the lights.
I love it.
So it's just
I love that's such kid logic too. Well, we don't have that, so that step's not necessary.
so we don't have that, so we're not going to do that.
That's fine. We don't need that one actually.
So we go in the bathroom and we turn off the lights, and we're like, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. We say it 3 times, and then the lights come back on, and the millisecond those lights come back on, the older kid from earlier just kicks open one of the stall doors, and he had a bag full of basketballs. Jesus. And just started wailing.
What the fuck?
To be fair, it was one of the scariest moments of my life because the tension's so high.
Yeah, it does sound pretty fucking scary.
You're so freaked out. And then like the older school bully just throws open the door and just like starts
beating the hell out of you.
And the other one's like got the door shut, like you're not getting out. You gotta take your legs. Right? So this is what you get for being stupid and believing in ghosts. Just getting decimated in the bathroom with that. So I did the Bloody Mary thing and did get scared out of my mind. So
do you think, because when you think of Bloody Mary, you think of like a bloody woman in like a Victorian dress, right?
Well, I've always heard that it is Queen Mary. Like,
okay.
Who like killed all the...
She bathed in blood or some shit like that? Is that
yeah, that's part of the story. She was called Bloody Mary while she was the queen, yeah.
Would it still be equally as effective if it was like, if you just said like Greg 3 times in the mirror, it was like a regular looking guy? Would that still be creepy?
It'd be creepy, yeah. I think it adds... Well, what's Greg's intentions with me?
I mean, nothing. You just, like, the thing is
that's just like getting a friend.
When you say it, you, like middle-aged man will just be standing behind you in your reflection.
Is he clothed?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I'd say business casual.
Yeah. Is he kind?
He doesn't say a word.
But does he look kind?
He just kind of does he does like the Jim Halpert smirk.
It's just a little quirky, a little weird. That's fine. You can be alone and you're like, Greg, and it's like...
How fucked up would it be, though, that every time you look in a reflection, Greg's there?
It'd be rough in the bathroom. Like you're getting out of the shower and you're naked and Greg's just standing there looking at you.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, Greg. I'm really glad you're here right now. Thanks, Greg.
You're not in here when my wife's in here, are you?
Oh, Greg. Silly guy.
Greg's just window shopping again.
Yeah, old Greg, just look but don't touch. That's his motto. He actually doesn't have a motto. He never speaks.
Yeah, I've actually never. And then when he talks, he has like a very thick Jamaican accent.
Greg, I don't think that's...
Greg, are you putting that on?
Greg, I don't think that's...
You put that
one on? Is that
on?
what you really sound like, Greg?
Do you really know what bombaclot means, Greg?
Or did you just say it because you went on a cruise to Mexico one time and you heard someone say it and you thought it was cool?
I saw that Royal Caribbean shirt that you were wearing. And
yeah.
I think you might have just been island hopping.
I think you're being a little insensitive, Greg. Now, if you could quit, like, hanging over my wife's bed every night when we go to sleep, that'd be great. And also quit being culturally insensitive.
Hey, the new movie from A24 is coming out. Bring Her Back, coming out May 30th. Go check it out.
Check it out. A24, Bring Her Back. It's a movie. It's a good one. We enjoyed it. Go watch it May 30th. Thank you. But no, I mean, these stories are fun. You get your friends scared about it, stuff like that. There's one my mom had. She grew up in like Eastern Kentucky, and she grew
Are
up.
you telling this story again?
Yeah. I told you right before we started recording, before the recording. My mom had the story of like, it was called like the knock knock man or the knock knock guy, and it's like you have to wait till everyone goes to sleep, and then her and her sisters would get together, and the chant was something like, knock knock man come by, knock knock man say hi, and then you would hear knocking at the door, but every time you went to the door, no one would be there. But she also like old Appalachia, especially if you were poor, it's like all there was to do was find ways to almost die. It was like, oh, you kids want to go to the old abandoned rock quarry Saturday, and we can like jump like off the cliffs into the water. It's just stuff like that all the time.
I never had rituals for my family. I remember my great grandma though. She like took my hand and brought me up to her attic one time. Or it was like the second story of her house one time. Took me in this room and she was like, "Grandpa died right here on the floor." And I was like, "Oh." And he's like, "And he's still here every day. I see him. He sits in this bed." He's like, "So when you come over, I want you to come upstairs and say hi to him."
Wow.
So that was traumatizing.
Well, that's 100% like, that's how these ritual things start. Because if you told your kids and stuff, it's like, you know, your great-great-grandfather, the attic and stuff. That's where like these stories come from.
Well, I remember just being like, "Listen here, you old hag. I'm not going to fucking go upstairs and like wait for a guy to just sit there and be like," because all my grandpa did, different grandpa, not the
I understand.
Not the
Yeah, I
one.
assumed. Yeah.
He would just sit there and he'd just eat M&Ms in his chair. That's all I remember from him. And he fucking died.
In that chair?
Like, yeah. And so then she left. She would seriously leave like a mason jar of M&Ms up there because she's like, "I see him every day."
Did the M&M jar ever move? Did you ever see the amount go up or down?
I don't know. I never went up there. She's like, "Time to go." I would lie right to her face. "Did you go up and say hi to your grandpa?" I'd say, "Yeah, I did." Yep. "Did you see him? You saw him up there,
it's
right?"
Funny, like you pretend to walk up the stairs and then you quit, but at the top of the stairs,
I wouldn't even go.
She had like a giant mouse trap ready for you.
Yeah.
Like a Tom and Jerry mallet.
That's weird. You're not cut in half.
I know you didn't see him because the Hat Man didn't get you.
Yeah, she has like some Kevin McAllister like paint buckets waiting for me. She's like, "Your frontal lobe isn't smashed in. That's odd."
I'm trying to get you to say hi to Grandpa. Why don't you go say hi to him?
Could you go
for
do
me?
that for me, please, really quick? Just real fast.
So yeah, that's where a lot of these came from. Like different ways to scare people, different ways to like keep stories alive, so to speak. Another one of those that I remember that we're going to look at next is called 11 Miles. 11 Miles. So this one was originally posted in, I feel like it's not as old as the old ones. I'm so confused by creepypasta.com. Anyway, 11 Miles is a more modern one, but there's been like, I haven't read it myself, but people mention it a lot now in reference with things like the Midnight Game, Bloody Mary, and stuff like that. I also like the rituals that require you to be more specific, I guess, rather than just like, oh, you can go to your bathroom and do this. Like, you have to be more dedicated to it, right? It's kind of the way a lot of old, like, pagan rituals were and stuff like that. Like, you have to go to one spot in the woods. You have to, like, carve a shape or something like that. There's more dedication to it.
Yeah, so this is for the more dedicated
Exactly, yeah.
people wanting to get spooked.
Yeah. It's, actually, a lot of this stuff is similar to, like, left-right game. Like, to get to this alternate world, it's like you have to go to a street, you have to go left, then right, left, then right.
Probably also why they're not as popular, though. Is children can't do it over at sleepovers.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's also true, yeah. That's where it hits a lot. Yeah. But for us grown adults who do rituals.
Who do it all the time.
Exactly, yeah. 11 miles. If you attempt this challenge but fail, then who knows what will happen to you. If you finish the challenge, you will find your reward. Do you have something that you truly, relentlessly desire? Despite your state of life, is there something else that you would go completely to the end of the world to get? Well, lucky for you, there's a way to achieve what the journey can prove to be too bothersome.
Or is it saying that it's literally going to grant you a wish?
It's saying that some desire will be at the end of it, once you get to the end. Rules are, do not use a vehicle too large or noticeable, as you will need some of the cover of night to be most safe. Also, while any sort of car will do, you may not want to choose the most expensive or cherished vehicle. Do not drive faster than 30 miles per hour. You can take your slick new black Mercedes for the drive. If you're close, you will see or feel its signs, but what the signs will be depend on what it is you desire. For example, if you're in search of wealth, you may spot shimmers on the empty branches of trees, as if they rings you through 11 miles, leading to whatever it is you seek. Each mile will test your desire and will always get harder. Do not open the windows when you've entered. Time has stopped, so you don't need to worry about losing the night. Though you may not notice, you're not actually in your own world anymore. Take one last moment to realize that once the first mile is mostly through the woods, with the first few miles being an exception. The air will turn a bit colder, in which you should turn on your heating system if the vehicle has one. You won't want to take your eyes off the road later. Take some time to calm any uneasiness by admiring some of the night sky. You'll see it completely lined with stars, and you'll realize that the vehicle's headlights will no longer be required. Restrain yourself from gazing at it. If you look at its light for even more than a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle into the water, which you will freeze in mere minutes. Voices will be gone for this mile, but don't rejoice yet, they'll be back. So, now we lay out those specific miles, what happens on each one. On the first mile, if it gets really cold, you may turn your heater on. On the second mile, if you still haven't turned the heater on, you should do it now. If you decide to not turn it on, you may regret it later. On the third mile, ignore any silhouettes that you may see in the trees. No matter how human they seem, keep your eyes on the road. On the fourth mile, you may hear voices whispering in your ear. Ignore them, no matter how human they seem. On the fifth mile, if the trees vanish, a random appearance of a lake, and the moon starts glowing, ignore them at all cost. On the sixth mile, take into account that you are more than halfway done. Despite the progress, you may lose hope here. The stars will have disappeared at this point, leaving the sky an empty, black abyss. The clearing will have ended, leading you back into the woods. The only light you will be provided with is by your vehicle's headlights, but they will flicker from time to time even if you're sure they're in perfect working order. If you have a radio in the vehicle, it will turn on here automatically. If you didn't turn it off beforehand, it will produce an overwhelming screech that will send you off the path. Calm voice will then begin to speak out about your greatest fears, what it is you are horrified of in your life. It will speak in a way that will cause you to visualize the words in your mind, so don't listen to it. If you begin to comprehend what it's saying, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on the road. That reminds me of during the left-right game. Remember how there's the radio broadcast from, what was it, Winterby, right? Mm-hmm. I love that. I forget what the name of the radio station was, but it's like, and we're with you till the witching hour.
Yes,
right?
Witching hour.
Such a cool like world building note here, but it's kind of a similar vibe here. Like you've driven somewhere that is in a different world, and now there's voices speaking through. Well,
I don't know which one came first, but this feels very, very similar. Yeah. Just in terms of even the progress, the beats
of like how it progresses.
Yeah, I mean not specifically what's happening, but just like, hey, by this mark, this new thing's going to happen. The journey is kind of perilous, whatever.
It is similar, yeah. On the 7th mile, you may hear voices again. No matter how close they may sound, ignore them at all cost. If the voices are coming from the back seat, do not turn around. Just keep ignoring them and focus your eyes on the road. On the 8th mile, slow down but do not stop. If your headlights flicker, slow down but don't stop. If it gets really cold, do not stop. If you hear or see anything, ignore them and keep driving. On the 9th mile, your vehicle will stall temporarily. Close your eyes and try to restart your vehicle. No matter what, do not open your eyes. Even if you hear anything telling you to open your eyes, just ignore them and remain your eyes closed. When your vehicle starts, drive as fast as you can to the next mile with your eyes closed. When the mile is over, you will know when the mile is over. You may open your eyes. On the 10th mile, the voices of the beings will stop. If you were to look in your rearview mirror, do not actually do this, you will see them following and are impressed that you have come a long way on the journey to what you desire because you are most likely going to your death. On the 11th and final mile, your vehicle may lose power but continue to move. If you see a red light ahead, close your eyes tightly. Cover them if you must. Cover your ears if you're able to. You will hear unrelenting and inconceivable noises from all directions. No amount of bravery and conditioning will spare you from these sounds. You will feel things touching you. The cold will turn to a merciless heat, burning all parts of the vehicle. You will feel the illusion of the flesh being burned off your bones, but no matter what, do not look. Once the power returns, stop your vehicle, open your eyes, take a deep breath, and continue driving. Keep driving until your vehicle arrives at a dead end. Stop here and don't attempt to move again. Nothing will happen once you've reached this point. You may realize that you are back where you first began. This may confuse you, but know that you are finished. Your task is done. Close your eyes and imagine your deepest desire, even if it has changed from when the journey began. Imagine not desiring it, but possessing it. Open your eyes and you will find what you desire. So now that the task is done, what's the catch? Is your vehicle cursed? Is there something you're about to lose? Is your death imminent? The answer to all is no. Of course. You've done the challenge. You've proved worthy of what you desire. As stated before, sounds of the 11th mile will continue to exist in your mind, potentially causing you some vivid and unusual nightmares, but these should prove as nothing compared to what you've gained. That is the 11 miles. This reminds me of, you remember that thing, it's like during the pandemic, the Randonautica? Is that what it was called?
I have no idea.
There's a saying, it was called Randonautica. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think it was called Randonautica. It was an app where it would give you random locations around you to go drive. Yeah. So it's like you get in your car and you turn on the app, and it would say, it would be
was
like...
that something that was specifically made for the pandemic era? Or was it just, that was just an app at the time?
No, it was just always a thing. It was like taking you to weird locations in your town or whatever.
Right.
And it just blew up during the pandemic because there wasn't a lot, to hang out and do. So people started doing it. And it became this whole thing online because it was taking people to really weird places. And like it would take them to like, oh, this is where an old school that burned down, or this is like the abandoned whatever. So I did it once because again, I'm weird. There's nothing else to do. So I'm like, I'm going to try it late one night. I was driving back from Kayla's when her and I were dating. I'm like, let me just try it out. So I punch it in and it just gave me like a location like 10 miles away, and it took me like I'd never been down these roads around the county before. And then I get to the end location, and it was the cemetery where my parents had bought me a grave plot. So that's kind of weird. Just of all the places it could have been.
Seems so weird that, what's fucked up is I feel like the system knew.
Yeah, but how?
Well,
maybe it just picked the cemetery.
It's the same kind of shit of like, man, I really need to clean my house, so I need a new vacuum cleaner. And then you start getting vacuum cleaner ads.
Yeah.
Just the same kind of way that technology works. It's just like they hear shit and they're able to tell us it. Like maybe your mom was just like, remember I bought you that plot?
If I had to guess anything, I would guess that the creators of Randonautica maybe leaned into it and was like prioritized graveyards, abandoned, whatever.
Which is fucked during a pandemic. Yeah. You're going to be here soon, asshole. It feels so too coincidental, doesn't it?
For me,
for your
specifically,
deal?
yes, because there were, for a long time I was hearing this and I'm like, yeah, because this is the ones we hear about. How many hundreds of people are doing it and it takes them to like a McDonald's and we never hear about it. Yeah. But then I did it one time. it was a place.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like just the one time versus if you were like, yeah, I did it a bunch of times and then one time, but just the one time.
Just one time. I was like, okay, well.
Is your plot beautiful?
I'm just gonna set this down. It is pretty. It's facing the east.
I don't know if I want to be buried.
I don't know if I want to be buried either. What do you want to have done with your body? I kind of want to just have mine donated to science or something.
Not me, man.
What do you want done with yours?
I want to have, I think I've said this before. I'm very adamant about it. I want to have a mausoleum made, but you go inside and I'm in a glass case and it's nice space. It's like nice space.
I think you have said this before.
Yeah. I'm going to be butt-ass naked, and the only way that the door opens is from the inside. So if I ever get resurrected, I can actually open it up and do that. But I won't be underground.
Yeah.
I'm extremely claustrophobic, and the idea of being in a box for eternity fucks me up.
I think we talked about it during Pen Pal, but I used to have these recurring nightmares as a child of being buried alive, where like I couldn't get out, and like I could hear my echo. It was really hot and stuffy in there.
It's so creepy that they're like, oh, doesn't he look comfy in here? And it's like, you're in a tiny box with little curtains all around it, little fucking sheets, and you don't have a pillow. Can you imagine, like, you've been dead for, 100 years, and you wake up for some reason, and you're just there? You're fucked.
Do you remember that?
And don't give me the whole thing of the body's deteriorated. I get it, but I'm saying that in a world where you wake up, let's say you're completely regenerated.
Yeah, sure. That's not where you want to be. Do you remember when we were in New Orleans and we were doing the tour of the cemetery? And they were like, "Well, actually, it gets so hot in here that over time it like what's the word? It doesn't cremate, but it like burns the body down to bones, and then they pull the bones out, wrap them up, and just shove them into the bag."
Because this whole thing is the standing. It's not like the actual bodies are there. they just broil
Yeah.
to the point where they're just a bag of bones, and then the people literally go in there and just like shove it into a pit in the
There's
ground.
a giant
that's in your
at the
plot.
back of the
Yeah.
like where the body goes. It's all of your like deceased family members who are now bundles of bones.
I don't really know if I want to be cremated either, though. Would you
I
want
don't
to be
know.
cremated?
I don't know about being cremated. I don't like the idea of just burning it. You know,
I think almost every single one of my family members is like have been cremated.
I think I'll get buried, but if I wasn't to be buried, I'd like my body to be donated or something like that, just to get some use out of it. Because I really don't put that much value in like the body after someone's dead. So it's like might as well go to something, right? You know?
Yeah. No, that's very selfless. Not me though.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of like a ritualistic place in the normal world?
What?
Fucking Build-A-Bear. Build-A-Bear's a bit fucking.
You know, you're
ritualistic,
actually kind
isn't
of
it?
right.
Because don't you put like a fake heart in it and all this stuff, and you
put the
sew it
heart
up.
inside of
And they're like, give it a name. All right, kiss it, and put its heart inside, and all that. It's like a little fucking demon factory, isn't it?
You know, you could build your bear online.
Where's the fun in that, though?
That does lose the point of it. I will say,
Well,
every
yeah.
now and then they will drop an exclusive one, and it does like the
Why?
psyop.
How do you know that? And why are you
The
following that?
psyop, can I continue, does work on my wife, where it's like, oh, they have a little Mothman this week or something like that. He's like, oh, Mothman or whatever. But then you don't get to do the build process with those, right? It's just like, here's Mothman.
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Well, you do deep penetration on that little motherfucker too when they shoot the stuffing inside of it.
It is crazy.
They're
how
like they're
hard
literally
they,
like, all right,
shove
now
those, yeah.
now go 6 inches, and you're like, I'm like, all right, now 12, and you like keep this little motherfucker is spit roasted. Sitting there like that.
I remember as a kid.
It's great. I remember even as a child, I was like,
I remember as a kid, like my little sister was too young to like do it. She was like 4, and the worker's like, I'll do it. Just like, just
well, when the workers do it too, because you know that they're like, I just want to get this shit done with.
Yeah.
They do it like this. Like that,
And
it
like it's about to rip
I
its head off.
I got kind of traumatized when I was there when I was younger. My sister got one because you're supposed to name it. You like name it first. Well, it's been a while since I've been there, but
You name it, yeah.
you name it first, and it's like coming in because it was like at the mall. We like came in because me and my dad were doing something, and my mom and my sister were over there doing that. So we came in after the fact, and she like had that thing, and she was like slowly going down, like pushing it down to the pipe, whatever, because you like they'll let you, be like, here, put the stuffing into it. And she had like that just going through, and its body was all propped up like this, getting filled up. And I was like, "What's your bear's name?" And she like was looking at me, and she did Gabriel.
He told me his name was Gabriel, and he's gonna help us.
It's a bit. I'm like, because you don't think of a different way where you don't have to go into the ass and stuff it.
Gabriel.
Yeah, she's like Gabriel.
It would of course be an angel name.
I'm getting him a dog tag. I was like, what does that mean? Is he a war vet? Is he a fucking Vietnam War? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, but the I don't know. Such a weird. Is that still in business?
Yeah.
I
That's
saw
all
there's
them.
one in the Kansas Mall.
Really?
Yeah, they do really good because they'll have like these limited drops and like not only kids but like the Hello Kitty girls and stuff like that go all the
Yeah,
time.
I just love that you're like. So actually, they're actually super profitable, and they should do
I
this,
know
a
about
lot
the
of great
yeah.
a lot of great exclusive drops. That
Yeah.
we like to keep up on a lot.
Yeah,
of
I'm sorry some of us love our wife and like to get her things that she likes.
I mean, more power to you. I just bad memories. It seems like such a outdated thing too. Like I don't think I've seen. I can't remember the last time I saw like a kid have a teddy bear. Even like my cousin's kids, whatever. It seems like such an outdated thing, doesn't it?
I feel like they just have. Anytime I think
guess
of
it's
like
just
what a
it's
kid has,
cute
it's like
and
an
it's
iPad
soft or whatever.
At this
Yeah.
point, yeah, which is sad.
Well, that's why legitimately people are like, "Oh, it's his 5th birthday. He's getting an iPhone."
That is messed up.
Well, that's what kids want nowadays. It's not like, "Oh, I don't want like a cute thing anymore." I think that's if they are open, that's definitely wise because it's
How
the
old
cute.
does your kid have to be before you let him have like access to the internet?
18.
I realistically probably wouldn't want my kid having a phone until it was. If he's like, hey, I'm gonna go. Like if I was in my neighborhood when I was younger, I wish I had a cell phone whenever I was like Hey, I'm gonna go ride bikes with my buddy.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
that's
have
a safety thing. That's
like
different.
12.
Yeah.
12.
12 or 13, I agree. Yeah.
But also, there's no way to not have him access, he or she to access.
They are going to go to their friend's house and get on a
And
computer.
do whatever.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'd rather just be like, listen, buddy, you don't need to be watching people getting their fucking head smashed in with a hammer.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's stay off of Live Leak, please.
Yeah, have fun, watching whatever. I mean, I can't. I feel like the
am
more
gonna
you
know a lot
restrict
better
it, the more deeper they're going to get into it.
I'm also like going to be a lot better than my parents were about like knowing what search history is and stuff like that. So the day it's like, all right, let me see your phone.
What were you looking up, dude?
Boob.
I love the young Isaiah just typed in boob, but it's spelled like the way you put it into a calculator.
Yeah. And I immediately get scared and like drop the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god! I can't look at that.
Terrifying. Yeah, that was me. All right. So after that, speaking of Build-A-Bear and whatnot,
well, the reason I brought up Build-A-Bear is because this one is pretty much like Build-A-Bear.
This is Build-A-Bear, only it's like with the devil involved in there. It's called How to Go. The way I would always hear it titled is How to Play Hide and Seek by Yourself. But as the title is on the original creepypasta, Hide and Go Seek Alone. So at the very top, in all caps, it says, if you don't follow the steps properly, you will die. Do not play this game at all. You will die. Great opener.
So what are the rules? You're like, what?
Why do I want to play this game again?
If I was a guessing man, I'm going to say you build yourself a little hide and go seeker.
Yeah. This is
Ready
like...
or not, here I come.
This is like... Imagine me, like, as a child, me being like, I don't really want to play this game, guys. Everyone's like, shut up. Stop being a baby.
I fucking hated hide and go seek. I hated that game when I was younger.
I actually think now that when I was talking about me being young, I think I did play the Midnight game once.
You probably did play Midnight.
I think I did play the Midnight game. I'm actually having memories of holding a candle and walking through the house scared.
Doing that scared, quiet breathing.
Until I just did the impression of my friend saying, stop being a baby, and it was like a Vietnam flashback. I was suddenly like...
the ringing in your ear?
Yeah, I'm like... I remember I had a red candle. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hello?
I completely blocked it out. I don't think I cut myself, though. I don't think I did the blood thing.
You saw the Midnight Man, didn't you?
I remember being really freaked out because my friend had these long hallways and you couldn't, like, the candle glow would be like 5 feet. So it's like as you're stepping through the hallway, you could always just see a little bit out. Uh-huh. And everyone else was playing at the same time. So it's like you would see.
You guys had
candles.
multiple sessions of Midnight Game
There were
going?
5 of us playing it at once.
Damn.
So everyone went to a different door and did it. Because it doesn't have to, like, it said front door. I think we did, like, closet doors, as long as it was a wooden door.
Yeah, wooden door.
Yeah, and then, you set down your name, knock 22 times, let it in. And then we're all, like, passing. So, like, you look down the hall and you would just see a candle slowly pass and stuff like that. Yeah, I completely memory hold this. Why did I do that? Why did I forget about all of it?
I don't even want to speculate.
Dude, it can't be good.
In a game that involves the Midnight Man, I'm not wanting to speculate.
No good outcome.
There's really nothing that I can speculate on that I think ends in a positive light.
I so vividly remember now, like looking out the windows at the back of my friend's house, and it just like the candle glow reflecting back.
The thing
at me,
re-triggering your memory though being "Don't be a baby" is
that's
haunting.
Pretty rough, isn't it?
That is haunting.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just.
You look visibly shaken.
I can't think of another time I've had a memory that repressed, other than when we were reading Pen Pal and I remembered the dreams about being buried alive. That is the only other time. Both traumatic flashbacks I've had have been talking to you on this podcast.
There's like a glisten in your eye. I feel like there's still something that just hasn't peeked its head out yet.
I don't want to sit here and think about it.
I don't think we should either.
Till it does. I remember walking down the stairs and being really scared because I could just see the next stair I was about to go down.
What was the friend's house you were at?
Remington. He's my friend.
Was her last name of the Remington fame?
No, that was his first name.
Oh, what was his last name?
Mountain.
Remington Mountain?
I swear that was his name, yeah.
The kid's name was Remington Mountain.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Appalachia trash, dude, I'm telling you. God. This is Tyler Springwater. And of course, this is Bug's Raccoon Trap.
This is strange. I've never had a repressed.
We're gonna have to talk about this after.
We are gonna have to. Let's go back to this one. Hide and go seek alone. Okay. Anyway, so hide and go seek alone. Hitori Kakaru. Sorry.
Here, Nick. He's the Japanese expert. How do you say this name?
Up top.
Right at the top.
Highlight it.
Kakurenbo.
Hitori Kakurenbo. Hey.
Hitori Kakurenbo.
Hey. Konnichiwa. Sumimasen. Hiyo. One kokaibo, please.
Hitori Kakurenbo is a famous game in Japan and Korea, originating from Japan, where you let a spirit or demon possess a doll and then play a game of hide and seek with them. The game is necromancy. It is potentially very dangerous and is not good for your sanity. Do not try this game just because you're curious or want to experience it for yourself. This is a very dangerous, life-risking game.
This is, of course, the Japanese would be like, I want to revive Grandpa into a wooden doll.
I want to put him
play
in
hide
that
and
doll.
seek with him again.
That one over there. Yeah.
You know, the one, the coyotes and foxes tore that teddy bear apart. I'm going to sew Grandpa back together and we'll be able to play games again. And you're like, huh? I miss my dad. I wish he was alive to play hide and seek with me again. Why don't you just play hide and seek with your friend? No. It has to be the spirit of the dead.
No, I don't like that. I need it to be someone I know that died.
Yeah,
I want to be my friend that died.
It has to be someone who's seen heaven so I can ask him about it.
That's crazy. If a kid told me that, I'd be like, okay.
I'd be like, cool. And I'd take that fucking teddy bear and I'd throw it away.
Yeah. And then you watch it climb out of the trash can.
Which I want to say, exactly, and that'd kill the kid. The curse fucking gets severed here. I can make a new kid, dude. I seriously think that if my kid did any spooky shit like that, I would cut. I mean, I wouldn't kill the kid, but
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna immediately go to these kids and be like, okay, kids, this is a game you can play. You take this teddy bear, take it up.
If I found out that like my kid was like
take it up to Papa
making weird dolls or whatever, yeah, I've been taking the cat's toenails and putting them on this doll and I'd be like, dude, enough. I'm throwing it away. Is that wrong? Is that bad parenting?
If your kid is like mutilating a doll.
It's my only friend.
Yeah, I think you can do that at that point.
Huh? What did he just say to you? Inside joke.
It's a secret.
Even if I explained it, you wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it. It's a thing between us. Yeah, you can throw that away.
If he's holding the...
If a kid of mine ever talks to something, I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Anything.
Any object.
You said what?
Yeah, what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I think that's
If
reasonable.
my kid's talking to the TV remote, I'm getting a new TV.
It's just, has an imagination.
God,
Okay, you know what?
see that. Now we know exactly.
This is the kind of person who dies in these situations.
Nick definitely had like a ball of yarn. He was like, "Are you kidding me, Mr. Squiggles?
You like that?
Why are you're so
like
wiry
this, buddy?
today?"
I used to pretend my toys were real.
Your parents, that
What?
explains a lot about you.
You
You
pretend
used to
What do you
pretend
mean?
they were real. What does that mean?
Like they were alive.
No. So okay,
Not like you would play pretend with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a difference between playing.
No,
Like,
I'd be like, they're alive. Like Toy Story. They wake up when...
See,
And
that's exactly
that was
why
a
you should have. Your parents should have fucking thrown the toys away. Is what should have happened.
That was a
What kind of
comforting-
toys were they?
Hold on. That made you feel better that they come alive when you're not looking, not freaked out. Okay, what kind of toys were they?
Like small soldiers. The action figures.
So you had like Chip Hazard and
Chip,
Archer and all them.
Yeah.
Isn't that the plot
purple
of the
rhino.
movie?
So yeah, but I was saying, so you're basically just like you were just like, oh, I wanted the movie to be real.
Yeah.
Well, you should have led with that. You
I
made it seem like you had
talked
like a
to
Raggedy
Mr.
Ann doll, and
Shuffles.
you're like, yeah, she plays dress up when I'm not looking.
Where do you find these guys?
He emailed me.
Okay, so
Because yeah, there's definitely a difference between like just, I mean, like being like, oh, I'm playing with the toy. And you're like playing make pretend.
yeah,
Versus, I had a friend who had like an imaginary friend, and it'd be to the extent where you'd like sit down, he'd be like, "That's not your seat," that kind of stuff. And that's where I'm like,
that's creepy. It's pretty creepy.
yeah.
I had a buddy one day. He bought like Dragon Ball Z toys, and then I came over one day and they were ripped apart. And he said while they're sleeping, they fought.
Just to me, that's just
schizophrenia.
creepy. That's where it borders on being too fucking weird, like creepy.
Yeah. Now, if you did that and told your friends that, that's funny. But if you actually believe that, that's a problem.
I'm finding out that I actually did this a lot because he said that and I did. Oh, okay. And I went downstairs and I pulled on his mom's shirt and I was like, I want to go home. And my mom come pick me up.
I'm scared.
I was like, I'm not doing this. Because also back then, getting like hangout days, it was like it's like a vacation.
Yeah.
You got to really, like it's a big thing, especially if you. Because with that one, too, it was a whole thing where you're all excited because you're like, I get to ride bus number 5 today and go to his house. Mm-hmm. I've never ridden on that bus to go to his house. And then you get there and it's that shitty. You're like, I'm not about to spend my time like this. I'm not in it for the long haul.
I'm not putting up with this guy.
Fuck that.
I want to go watch Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I want to go home.
Yeah. And then you also find out that, too, the mom's like, yeah, he doesn't have any M-rated games. All we have is E. And you're like, get me the fuck out.
I need to escape right
Get
now.
me out.
Yeah. I agree. Note, it's best to put your pets outside of your house. There have been reports of dogs barking and cats hissing at nothing. Some even reported their pets behaving strangely after the game. So, tools. Tool 1, a stuffed doll with limbs. Not a human doll, as there's a huge chance the spirit will not leave it. If you have an animal doll with limbs, it can be used as well. Example, a teddy bear. Rice. That is enough to be used as stuffing instead of cotton for your doll. The rice is said to attract the doll. Something from your body. Usually fingernails for the doll to represent you. This means that if you do something to the doll, the same thing will happen to yourself. Never use someone else's body parts. This results in the doll replacing that person instead, and the game will not work correctly.
Just want to say we should cut this. But I was going to say, wonder if that's why also she cut the hair because there was something that was like representative of the mother is doing this for her daughter. So I wonder if she did it. A dad needed something there for her daughter. Like a parental figure needed to have a representation in the.
I will say, to answer this and to answer it in a way we can include this in, this has similarity to something from the film.
I was going to say, everything we've said so far, there's been little hints of that kind of ritualistic shit.
There's been similarities, not to spoil, but the tie-in, and that specifically has some similarities to themes in there. I think it's a thing about. It's almost like you are contacting a spirit or something from the other world, and you need to give it a target. You need to tie it to something else. And I think maybe like in this specific instance, it's like the spirit will get mad or it won't work right if you use someone else's thing. But when it comes to the film, I would bet it's something similar where it's like you have to direct the power you want and what you want it to be. Yeah, I'd say so. Next tool, a sharp-edged object to anger the spirit in the doll by stabbing it. Be sure not to use a knife or scissors, as the doll will possibly stab you with it after it finds you. So use a pencil or needle instead. It's recommended to use a wooden toothpick. Red thread, to sew up the hole you made in the doll. This later symbolizes blood vessels and acts as a restraint later in the game.
That's cool.
Salt water or salt. This will be used later in the game to get rid of the spirit in the doll. A bathtub with water. If your home does not have a bathtub, a basin large enough to put the doll in with water in the bathroom works too. And finally, a very safe sanctuary or hiding spot. When it's the doll's turn to find you, if you have a room with statues and things related to your religion, it's recommended to make it as your hiding spot.
It's eerily similar how many of those tie into the movie yesterday.
Yeah. There's a lot of connections between like place to be, a place for it to go, stuff like that. Yeah, again, without getting spoilers.
Purging
specific.
process afterwards, all that stuff.
There's a menacing note, and it's something I thought about with the movie too, about having, like, for one, inviting an entity like that, right? But then, like, knowing it's in your house, right? It's like, this is your safe space, but you've now opened up your safe space to this other.
Yeah, violated your safe space, basically. Yeah.
You've contaminated it almost. Starting the ritual. Give your stuffed doll a name, for example, Fluffy or Rover. Cut the bear or doll open and take all of its stuffing out. Put the rice in the bear or doll as well as the part of your body. Sew the doll back again with red thread and wrap the remaining red string around the whole doll. This is important as it binds the spirit. Prepare the bath or large basin by filling it with water and then wait until 3 a.m. sharp. Some versions say that you do not have to wait until 3 a.m., but this is up to you. Remember to turn off all lights in the house, but leave only the television on. It will change depending on the location of the doll. That's a really cool detail. Like, depending on where the doll is in the house, like, it manipulates the television. Like the spirit you're contacting messes with, like, transmission rays and stuff like that. Yeah. Once it's 3 a.m., take the doll along with you to the bathroom and repeat. First tagger is your name 3 times sternly while closing your eyes. Then place the doll in the bath or basin. Walk away to another room, but do not look back. You may see the spirit possessing the doll. If said spirit makes eye contact or notices you looking at it, it may come after you. Count slowly from 1 to 10. After that, turn around and proceed back to the doll. Go close to the doll in the bath basin and say, "I found you," and then say the doll's name. And then stab the doll with your weapon or object. After that, close your eyes and repeat, "Now, doll's name is it," 3 times. Leave the object inside the doll, then pour some salt water into your mouth. Do not drink the salt water as it protects you from the spirit in the doll. You will need the remaining salt water to end the ritual. Bring along the cup of salt water and go to your hiding place. It is recommended to keep your doors and windows unlocked in case you unexpectedly run into some trouble, and your friends will be able to help you there outside your home. It is recommended to have a cell phone on silent mode and brightness on the lowest level in case of emergencies. Keep the salt water in your mouth at all times. Never attempt to swallow it. Remain silent when you are hiding, as any sounds from you will alert the doll where you are. If the doll finds you, it will stab you with the object you stabbed it with, then possibly possess you as well. Keep salt water near at all times. I like the theming of that a bit, where it's like you've possessed a spirit and you're now trying to play a game with it, right? Like
you're literally mixing Bloody Mary and hide and go seek together.
Yeah, pretty much. I like the idea too of do not turn around to watch the spirit possess it. Like you can almost imagine this like huge entity like stepping into the small doll or something. Yeah. Ending the ritual. Ending the ritual is very important, as this will end the game as well. To end the ritual, go out of your hiding spot, find the doll, it may not be in the bathroom, and then drink the salt water. Pour the remaining salt water around the doll in a circle as well. Close your eyes and shout out, "I win," 3 times. The spirit in the doll will give up and the game ends. You must dispose of the doll by burying it with salt, otherwise the spirit will attempt to re-enter the doll. Some versions say to put salt in every corner of your house after you bury the doll, especially where the doll has been found, as salt drives away most malevolent spirits. Warning: do not play this game for more than 2 hours. The spirit inside the doll will be extremely difficult to remove. Messing around with spirits is very dangerous, so play the game at your own risk. Nobody will be responsible for your own death, as you risk your life to play the game. Do not turn around when heading to your hiding place. You might see something very disturbing. Do not play when someone else is in the house. You must be alone to play the game, because the other person might be unintentionally found. Instead, it might be hurt. Do not play with more than one person. It needs to be one person and one person only, because there's a great chance that one of the people that are playing could get possessed. The game can be played at 3 a.m. sharp. 3 a.m. is the time when spirits are the most free to move around. However, some versions say you do not need to wait for 3, and midnight is just fine. Do not turn on the lights while playing this game. Only leave your television on. Do not fall asleep no matter how tired, exhausted, or sleepy you are while hiding. The doll will eventually find you and possess your body, as the meaning of this play is, if you find me, you can have my body. Do not attempt to leave the house while the game is still going on. Unless you want to end the ritual and the doll is not in the house, the doll will find you. Do not play this game if you get frightened easily or have a very weak heart. This game is life-threatening, very terrifying to most who have played it. Better still, don't play this game at all. Do not give the doll your name or the name of one of your acquaintances. You or your acquaintance can be the victim of a curse. Messing around with rituals like this is dangerous. They are serious rituals, not games. If you make a single mistake, then expect to meet a nasty end. You have been warned. That is how to play hide and go seek by yourself.
What would be the reason you'd want to do that?
Just like the reason you would do any other ritual to summon stuff to see the supernatural. The reason that like this story works so well is because the reason you would want to do it is because you're told you're not supposed to, right? It's like,
well, yeah, of course, but usually with sometimes with a lot of rituals, there's something at least where the danger is a reward of being able to speak with a loved one.
With the Midnight Game, it said this was normally done by ancient pagan cults who have angered their gods or something like that.
Well, it was also a punishment, though.
It's like an atonement or something.
Yeah, that was the big thing, is like this is mostly actually like a punishment ritual. They'd make people do it.
This one would just be like an interaction with the spirits. And the rules tell you over and over, like, don't do this. This is a bad idea. You don't want to be a part of it.
Of course, that's going to egg people on to do it.
Exactly, yeah. But you could do it if you wanted to.
If you wanted to see something creepy.
What I like with a lot of it, especially that one, is there is the repeated things of like cadence. Like everything you say 3 times, never say it once. Or like, don't give it your name, because names are powerful in the spiritual realm and stuff like that. There's a lot of interesting accents given to it that make it feel more thought out, more legitimate. Like the red thread being a binding that looks like blood vessels.
Yeah, the blood vessel thing's fun. Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, the burying it with salt and stuff. Just like a lot of cool.
There's a bunch of little cool visual motifs throughout it, yeah. So for the final one we're going to look at for our ritual episode today, and for our first sponsored episode, I'm so cool to say that. Look at me and you. Who would have thought? The two of us. It's beautiful. For the last one we're going to look at today is Greywater. Unlike the previous ones where it's just kind of a set of instructions, this one's an actual story that involves a ritual. So, Greywater. Oh, is there any details about when this was posted? Or this is a more recent one too, I believe. Pretty sure. Like,
yeah, I was looking at the comments, and it looks like some of the earliest comments are like 2021. But that's also.
Oh wait, hold on. No, never mind. It goes down to 2014.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yes, this one's been around a while. Yeah. This one gets mentioned a lot in a positive note when it comes to like ritual creepypastas and stuff like that. So, Greywater Gardens lives up to its name, I thought, as I made my way up the damp concrete slabs, bridging across the stagnant pond. Everywhere leading up to the ashen, decrepit house was lined by rotten flowers and the congealed feces of cats, dogs, and other animals. The water itself looked like it had remained the same for centuries. This place is dead, as dead as I am. I arrived at the door, more a collection of damp splinters, and hesitantly pushed it open, causing the hinges to shriek. No more shrieking, please. The inside was as drab and oppressive as the outside, my nostrils filled with scents of mold and neglect and regret. Or maybe it's just me. I hadn't showered in days. I couldn't face the water. There was what appeared to be some kind of waiting area, 3 or 4 old wicker chairs, and one of those "please be seated" signs you find in posh restaurants. So, looking around for the slightest bit of human company, I sat down and waited. Despite myself, my wallet found its way into my hands, and then the picture of M I kept in there found its way in front of my eyes. I could never throw this away, no matter how many times I told myself to, for the sake of my own sanity. But I couldn't. This was all I had left of her fair white skin and pale blue eyes and ginger hair I'd tease her about. Freckles on her face and chest. She was beautiful. I tried to correct myself to present tense, but I couldn't. I never forget the day the last of that ginger hair fell out. Cough brought me back to reality, and I looked, blinking back tears, to see an old man, bald and bearded, stooped over, grinning through a mouth of yellow teeth. His clothes were as gray and wiry as the hairs on his face, like he was Greywater Gardens in human form. Even his right eye was gray. The left was just a black, empty socket, the eyelids hanging over it forlornly.
You have an appointment?
He spoke like he hadn't used his voice in years.
Yes, I have a secret. I want to deposit it. I know you do.
He let me grasp for words, wondering how the hell he knew when he said,
You wouldn't be here for any other reason, would you?
He turned and beckoned me to follow him into the back room. I gazed at the picture of him one last time. I love you. Then I slid it back into my wallet and did as I was bid. The room was more of the same, gray and wet and rotting and horrid. The only remarkable feature was the huge, hefty ledger on an antique wooden table next to a plain steel chalice. In the middle of the room was a concrete pool only a few feet across, filled with the same stagnant, gray water from the ponds outside. The old man opened the ledger.
You wish to deposit a secret?
He asked, perhaps as a formality. Maybe he's playing with me.
Yes. Your name?
I told him.
Excellent. Then let's begin.
He picked up the chalice and moved to the pool. He bent down, agonizingly slow, but eventually he filled the cup and shuffled over to me.
Drink the water.
A grin playing upon his old and papery lips as he pushed the cup into my hand.
The water will enter you, and your secret will replace it in the water. No man can discern its murky depths.
His smile was now so wide, I thought his face might crack open.
But be warned. Once I've taken custody of your secret, you can never reveal it. No one will ever know. But there will be no confidence or confession or chance of redemption. Are you sure this is the path you wish to take?
I am.
I didn't even hesitate. No one can know, for both our sakes. The old man shrugged, took a step back. I raised the cold steel to my face, but before I could drink, curiosity gripped me.
Why do you take other people's secrets? In the world of the blind.
He laughed, raspy and throaty, and tapped at his missing eye.
The man with one eye is king.
And I knew exactly what he meant. For you, M, I thought as I downed my morbid toast. I dropped the chalice and left without a word, knowing now that she was safe. As I walked out of Graywater Gardens, I looked down at the putrid pond and remembered. It wasn't the water that was gray at all, but her face, as I held her frail body down in the bath.
Nice little, was basically able to bring her back right there.
As I held her frail body down in the bath. What?
I said he's able to bring her back.
Yeah. I was able to bring I see I know what you did.
It's the name of the movie. It's a sponsored episode.
It's the name of the movie that the sponsor's for. That one actually had a ton of similarities to Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the water motif and stuff like that. That was interesting. So he goes to this place called Greywater Gardens, right? And he's lost his wife.
Yeah.
Previously. Mm-hmm. He says, like, the last of her hair fell out. So I'm implying she had, like, a sickness
I'm
or
guessing
something.
cancer.
She had, like, cancer or something like that. But what's that where he says, I remembered it wasn't the water that was gray at all, but her face as I held her frail body down in the bath. Did he have to kill someone?
As I held her down in the bath. I mean, well, is he assuming that? Are we assuming that he drowned her?
Sounds like.
That's what I think.
As I what? So he drowned him.
So what I think is happening is, I bet you she was sick, and then he killed her.
Yes.
So then that's the secret that he probably gave him, is that he's like, I want you to get rid of this memory. That's what I'm assuming, right? He's like, I have a secret I want to deposit, and he's like, yeah.
So he forgets that that's why. He
Yeah.
forgets that he killed his wife.
Yeah, he loved her,
Interesting.
and then he wanted to do that. I mean, I'm assuming that he killed her because she was sick.
Yeah, it was like a mercy killing or whatever, but he couldn't hold on to that memory anymore.
No, of course not, no.
Yeah, so he's like, I can't live with this, take the secret.
At first,
So he
whenever I
drinks
first read it, I was like, oh, I thought that he deposited whatever thing the transaction was that she got to come back. But I think that the thing is that
Take my
as he was-
memory from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also is making me wonder too, is like, did he give him the right memory? Right? Or else why would he say that last line? If he wanted to not remember it, would he not have?
Well, he's still like, he is still being a part of the ritual. He's there at Graywater. Like, he's looking down at the water thinking about that. And that's got to be the secret he takes from him, right? That he killed his wife. Because at the end, it's like, he has that line with him. I knew exactly what it meant. I thought as I downed my toast, I dropped the chalice and left without a word, knowing that she was safe. As I walked out of the gardens, I looked down at the putrid pond. So I think he is like, it's as he leaves, that secret's being taken. I would guess, at least.
Very kind of, it has like almost like a ferryman of the dead kind of vibe too with the old dude.
Yeah, I really like that line he said. That was cool. In the world of the blind, the man with one eye is king. That's cool. I like that line. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. It also ties, like I said, a lot to Bring Her Back with water being a crazy thing. There's a lot of that in Bring Her Back. There was like these visual motifs that kept playing over and over. Because afterwards, me and you were talking about it, and you picked up on things I didn't notice, and I picked up on things you didn't notice. It's like so much of the screen time was used for like piecing together these whole pictures of like themes and using symbols. Like mirrors was another one.
Well, I think a common theme with all these, like the bath and water and all that stuff, has to be something that's a parallel with baptism and that kind of stuff, rebirth, all that kind of stuff.
Actually, without symbolizing, without spoiling, the scene at the very end involving
It's a giant
water.
bleep sound.
Yeah. Involving water was very reminiscent of a baptism. There was a lot. I would like to watch Bring Her Back Again, which you all should go see when it comes out. But
Pay full price.
Pay full price. Watch
Hey,
it.
chicken jockey.
Don't do that.
How sick would it be though if Danny and Michael were able to start instead of like a chicken jockey train, people would like throwing popcorn. People were taking like, I don't know, like their kids there and like sacrificing them in the theaters or something. Like there's a mass.
A24 is gonna watch this, and they've got to sign off on it. They're gonna be like just that Hunter Hancock guy.
All right, cinephiles, what should the popcorn bucket be for Bring Her Back? The silence has been so loud today.
Good.
It's very, very, very loud.
Anyway, I think Bring Her Back did a lot of that with like the visual motifs and stuff like that. I like this story, the idea of like going to a place to give secrets, because that's what I get out of this, right? He killed his wife because she was sick, right?
The only reason I think that she's sick is because of the hair falling out thing.
Yeah.
Which is just a very quick way of like, I mean, chemotherapy. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. That's what I would think. Yeah, that's where my connection is with it. Unless I'm way off.
Very good to go there. But this is one thing I know we've said it before, but with these older creepypastas, like before the 2016, 2015 era, they all felt like very bite-sized, just, you know, like little dreadful, almost like poems or something, you know, with this kind of weird character. I don't know where the fuck that is. Graywater. Who cares what it is, right? It's just a place that we know he's going.
Yeah.
And you have like a creepy old man. It doesn't linger too much on it. You don't really give a fuck what he looks
very
like.
Punchy.
Yeah.
All the way through.
You get your nice little bit and you're like, ooh, that's it. It's like a nice little bite-sized thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
The movie itself it reads like an older creepypasta where it doesn't like it is very to the point, almost the same way that this is, where I will say in the movie, it's like, I mean, you're hitting the ground running.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And it doesn't try to like throw any weird curve. I mean, it's just like, it's a fucking punch to the face.
As soon as it's like 10 minutes in, I said to Hunter, I was like, this movie is not wasting any time.
Yeah.
Like immediately, it's like, it's not playing around with its setting. It's not like, oh, what if we're a horror movie? It's like, boom. Like,
which is very, it's a similar vibe to what they did with Talk to Me as well.
Yes,
You know?
because Talk to Me like also gets like right into it.
And one thing I liked about all the other like ritual stuff we read today too, which it's like all cringe shit that like, you know, pre-teen people would do with whatever. But there's something so fun about just like you have because nowadays the internet has ruined so much fun of stuff to where back in the day you could just be like, hey, seriously, you'll fucking die if you do this. Anyway, here's how you do it. Versus now there would have to be like all these like, I think people would be like, well, they're not going to believe you have to like go through all these like loopholes now to like try to get people in a state where they are like kind of vibing with it. But I just love that old internet like game aspect of like, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's so simple. And also it's the same kind of thing with like why I like found footage stuff or even some of the r/no sleep stuff where it's coming from the perspective of a person. So you're like, is this real? But being able to actually feasibly do it yourself with your friend is just kind of, it's like nice cringe fun.
There was you are completely right. There was such a magic nature to like, because like when you're with your friends and you read like The Midnight Game or How to Play Hide and Go Seek by yourself, you're not thinking about like, oh, who wrote this? Oh, where was this
who
posted?
cares?
It's like, oh, really? That's the thing? And then that's all it takes, right?
And that's not to also discredit the author, the people who did actually write it. It's just more so that like,
it was a magical time.
The source material is so much like, I don't care who fucking wrote it.
Yeah,
this is just something that I'm going to do with my friends.
It's a fun idea, thank you, kind of thing. And also with like what you said about Bring Her Back, how you're like, it's a creepypasta. You are right that it has a lot of those elements where the early creepypastas, like they don't waste any time, they have a concept and they deliver on it. In the good way, it is reminiscent of like old early internet horror stories and stuff like that. Now, Bring Her Back incorporates a lot of, like we talked about, there's a lot of interesting kind of pagan ideas like around the outskirts of it, and that's tied in with like this deception plot in the middle of it. It adds a ton of different layers to that idea, but you are right that at its core, it's like, here's an idea, here's how we execute on it, and it doesn't really obfuscate it that much.
But I will say, just as like a final note from me at least, is you can tell that it's like the film is from people who enjoy these like old internet horror stories versus like a 56-year-old guy at a studio being like, it's a Facebook horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like,
so you're going to get, it's just that nice, it feels very earnest in its approach.
I mean, these two guys were YouTubers, you know, who started making horror movies, right? They understand the culture, understand a lot of the modern stuff like that. It feels like someone gets the genre.
Would you recommend any of our viewers of any age perform any of these rituals tonight?
I think that aside from Hunter saying kill your parents at the beginning of this recording,
No, man.
I think other than that, feel free to do any of them that does not require you to injure yourself.
Your dad has a gun box in his closet. And
So-
he's not very imaginative.
All right, so like
The key code is probably pretty easy
So
to
the
crack.
midnight game, don't do that one because you have to hurt yourself, right? Or don't incorporate it. So yeah,
The midnight game you do?
you have to put blood on the paper.
Oh, yeah. You have
put
to
your-
prick your thumb. I don't know. You a pussy?
No,
Fucking
yeah,
prick
don't
your
do that.
thumb.
Don't do that. Don't do what Hunter just said.
Hey, you ever pricked your thumb before?
Don't.
Have you pricked your thumb?
When I've gone and got like blood tested and stuff like that.
You never with your buddies? Little blood
No, I've
pack?
never just stabbed myself in the hand with my friends.
That's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Is
so
it that have you guys pricked your thumb at all?
I only have intent.
you're not getting crowd support on this one.
Although I will say you don't have to cut.
That's insane.
You just poke it. You don't even cut it. If you gash your fucking hand open, then I think you deserve to
Okay.
bleed out.
So don't do anything where you have to hurt yourself. But if you
Right,
want to,
maybe
scare
bleed
your
though.
friends, do what I did. Tell them this story, like hype them up about how scared it'll be. Then do it. It did really freak me out as a kid, like the idea of like the repetition, like the 22 times. It felt like you're being very deliberate and inviting some
It's
presence
just
to
the
enter.
noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're in a dark house, even if you're the one knocking on a door, you don't want to be.
There's
that
a
fucking
candle
dark.
on the floor, and that's
Yeah,
all
and you're doing-
bum, 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 bum. Think about how long 22 knocks is.
Too much.
Yeah. And
See,
then
if
you
we're
open-
if we're screwing on the rules, like you guys are like, fuck, I don't have the fucking lighter. I'd be like, I'm gonna do like 3. I'm gonna knock
not
like 3
doing
times.
22
All right.
knocks, yeah.
Because also I get in my head and I'd be like 19. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
what was my count?
Was that 19? Was
But there is something very like purposeful to it. There's like a deliberation that always freaked me out. Even if I didn't believe in it it's kind of like the premise with Ouija boards. It's like, yeah, even if I'm not afraid of like summoning grandpa or some ghost, I feel like I'm letting something in. Like I'm opening the doorway to something. So with the midnight game, there's always this thing in the back of my head like sure, I don't think the Midnight Man's real, but I'm doing a lot to tell something that I'm
Well,
letting him in.
I'll tell you right now, you let in some fucking. We're gonna have to talk about some of these traumatic things that you've been keep digging up.
As we've been sitting here talking, I've been having like flashes of like remembering a hallway lit by candlelight.
Yeah,
and
and
like
I'm-
seeing.
I feel like there's.
I really hope
Some
it was
stuff
a
that we won't
ghost.
put public, I think.
really hope it was a ghost. That is the best case scenario. That I ran into the Hat Man at the end of the hallway. That is the best thing that could happen to me right now.
Guys, that is our Creepcast. I almost said Creepcast episode. Creepcast episode today. Be sure to check out Bring Her Back May 30th. Seriously.
Thank
They're
you,
fucking
Day24.
YouTuber.
It means a lot.
YouTuber pals, great guys, and the movie fucking rules. So if you guys want to watch a horror film, take your buddies out, take your wife, your girl, your boy, anybody out to go see it. It's a good time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Kill your parents.
See you in the next one. Do not do that.
Kill your parents.
You do it in your manifesto. Say that Hunter Hancock was responsible, not
Kill your parents.
Creepcast. I'm telling you not to do it, but I will testify against him in trial. You can tell your attorney.
Little knife, right to the neck.
Don't do that. Don't do any.
Goes in like butter.
You know what? Go incriminate yourself. That's fine. Thank you all for watching. Bye.